Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Freedom Fridays brought to you by me, Braden Freeman. Um, Today is currently 11:30 p.m., September 25th. I'm recording on a Thursday, but if you guys have been following me for a while, I record on Thursday night so I can post on Friday. So it'll be Freedom Friday tomorrow. I was thinking about this earlier because somebody asked me what did Freedom Friday mean? And of course, it's a financial literacy podcast, and I post it on Friday, so it's like Freedom Friday makes sense. But on another level, if you were to ask a kid, well, what's your favorite day of the week? Of course, they're gonna say Friday. Why are they gonna say Friday? Because they look forward to the weekend because they have freedom from school. So it's like, yeah, I thought that was cool. But today we're gonna be doing an episode on knowledge and resources. It's gonna be different because I have a slideshow prepared for you guys. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Bet I'm screen sharing. Go all the way up. Episode one. View slideshow. Bet. So, as I said, today's episode will be titled Knowledge and Resources by Braden Freeman, episode four. I think we're on episode four. All right. What is knowledge and resources? So, I said there are two ways you are successful in life that I believe. A, can I inform and or supply someone with knowledge and resources to solve their problems? B, can I connect them with someone who can? Which one do you fall under? If neither, how can you get there? Inflation and the effects. From 2015 to 2025, cumulative inflation has been approximately 31.4% based on the Chain Consumer Price Index, CCPIU. So if you guys ever seen CCPIU, now you know what it stands for. Because I hate when like people or say things, or like I got into a conversation with somebody the other day that they were invested in something. I was asking them, okay, what does that mean for? What does that stand for? What does that mean? Like you buying something, you invested in it, but can you tell me what is it? What was the purpose of it? And they couldn't tell me. So it's like, why are you, how can you put money somewhere you don't even know what it's doing? Anyways, this means that $100 in 2015 would have the purchasing power of about $131.40 in 2025. Well, how does this relate? What's the rate that recently college graduates are receiving first-time jobs? What's the median salary of a newly graduated college student? What's the average price for a new home? Did you know that real estate is going up 20% per year? How long is it taking for the first-time owners to save for a house? Did you know that now when you're bidding to buy a new home, you are no longer bidding against others looking to be first-time homeowners, but also against people that won't even live in the home? Imagine this. You find your dream home at 25 years old. And when you put in a bid for it, you get outbid by someone who's going to pay cash and not live in it due to the fact that they want to use the property to store their wealth, or they want to rent to others via Airbnb, etc. That wasn't a thing 20, 30 years ago. When did we stop buying real estate to consume? They don't teach that in college either. Why is this important? Imagine you graduate, land your first job, and move to your first apartment. You're excited until you realize 80% of your paycheck is gone to rent, bills, and food. This is why your wealth matters. The average cost, this is crazy to me. The average cost of an apartment in Mississippi is $1,300 and $1,317 a month. Guys, there are a lot of nice houses. Now, a lot of nice houses in Mississippi that you could get for that price or a little bit under. There's no reason you should be paying that much for an apartment by yourself. Average cost of a car note in Mississippi. A new car would be about $764 a month. Used cars would be about $389 a month. Average cost of insurance in Mississippi, anywhere between $123 to $156. Transportation, 150 to 250. Food, 400 to 600. Personal care, 80 to 150. Entertainment and social, 2 to 400. Unexpected costs, 1 to 200. And utilities and phone bills, $200. On the low end, is ranging from $3,304 to on the high end being $4,037 a month. And this is just one person living by themselves in a month. These are the expenses that one person would consume in a month. And this even isn't even including health and life insurance, meaning that within these expenses, you would have to be bringing in a net pay north of $50,000 to maintain living in this lifestyle. So there's a difference between your gross pay and net pay. Your gross pay is the amount of money you made time hours times the amount your salary. Net pay is after taxes. So what you actually take home. Why is this important? Over the past decade, housing and real estate costs in Mississippi have increased significantly. In 2015, the median home price in the state was approximately $170,000. By 2025, this figure has risen to about $250,000, reflecting nearly a 47% increase in home value over 10 years. The rental market has experienced a similar trend. In 2015, the average fair market rent for a two-bedroom apartment in Mississippi was around $648 per month. By 2025, the average rent for a similar unit had climbed approximately $1,078 per month, representing a 66% increase. These trends indicate growing demand for housing in Mississippi, resulting in higher home prices and real estate rental rates across the state. Now, hold on, I want to check something. Let's see. Can I go to pull this up real quick? Let me pull something up real quick. Great. Okay, we should we should be good. Great. Okay. Sorry about the interruption. I just had to check on something. Um, you guys ever seen that post on Instagram and it's like back in when we were younger, apartments was like $500 a month. Now it costs the arm and a leg. Like that's so true, guys. Think about this. In the past 10 years, the prices of homes have increased 47%. The prices of apartments have increased 66%. Meaning, if I was working in 2015, from then to now, my salary, what I bring home, would have to have higher than a 47% increase just for me to keep up with the cost of housing, right? My salary would need over a 66% increase just to keep up with the cost of an apartment. Guys, this is not how money should work. This is not how inflation should be going. But this is what happens. This is a result of the dollar being taken off of the gold standard. And now we price our wealth, our time and energy in dollars that are meaningless and don't worth anything. Why is this important? Recent graduates from Mississippi institutions generally experience strong employment outcomes, though median salaries vary by school. At Mississippi State University, approximately 94% of graduates reported being employed full-time or part-time within 6 months of graduation, with a median salary of $59,000. Mississippi College saw 84.3% of its 2022 bachelor's degree graduates employed or pursuing further education, with a median salary of $45,000. The University of Mississippi Ole Miss reported that about 91% of its graduates were employed 1 year after graduation, with a median salary of $36,000. If I go back, guys, if I wanted to live in an apartment in Mississippi by myself, at the bare minimum, I would have to make $50,000 net pay. This is what I'm taking home, not what I'm making, what I'm taking home. These jobs, it's like, bro, I have to work two jobs to be able to live in an apartment, to maintain a lifestyle to live in an apartment. Think about that. Not even a house. I have to work two jobs that I can pay my bills, my monthly expenses, but also be able to save and invest because getting an apartment is one thing. When you buy an apartment, you're paying for it monthly. And what you're paying for, you don't get it back when you move out. That's already a battle within itself. But getting a house, you might need three jobs. Depending on where you work at, you might have to have three jobs just to maintain the living conditions of living in a house. And that's just in an average area, the average subdivision. Why is this important? Cash loses value. Investing can help money grow. The US dollar loses purchasing power each year due to inflation. Over the past 10 years, 2015 to 2025, cumulative inflation has been roughly 32 to 35%. That means $10,000 in 2015 has a purchasing power of only about $6,500, $6,800 today. So if you held $10,000 in cash, you didn't lose dollars, but you lost what those dollars can buy. So example, if I have $10,000 in my bank account, or if you had $10,000 in your bank, I went and took $1,000 out. You check your bank account tomorrow, you have 9,000. You're going to be highly mad, upset with me, wonder where did your $1,000 go? Why did I take $1,000 of your hard-earned money, right? Because our money is something we exchange our time and effort for, right? You worked for that money. The counter argument is that what if you checked your bank account, you had $10,000. I raised the price of everything around you by 10%. You check your bank account the next day, you still have $10,000, you're happy. But the only problem is I just took $1,000 from you, whether you realize it or not. If I raise everything by 10%, I'm still taking that $1,000 from you. So at some point, we have to start looking at it as it's not the amount of dollars, but what we can buy with those dollars. Cost of independence. Reaching a level of abundance is not easy. It requires a level of discipline, living below your means, understanding what's valuable. Becoming wealthy is a race of maturity to understand what's valuable in life, health, freedom, time, and energy. Certain things will only keep you excited for so long. I ran a podcast 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, talking about the 5 steps of wealth when I started from survival all the way to abundance, guys. Getting to that abundance phase and wealth is not easy by any means. It really requires discipline. Being able to say no in life is probably your best friend. There's things you're gonna want and things that you may like, and it's like you just got to be able to have discipline to tell yourself no. And then 5, 10 years go by, you look back and it's like, man, I didn't even need that, or man, I could have went without that. Like really being able to understand what's important. Because a lot of things that we think matter really don't matter in the sense of we think it matters now because we're currently living in a moment. Once that moment passes, it no longer matters. What happens, happens. Whatever it is what it is. Nothing matters how we think it does. Building wealth early. So I've created 5 slides. These next 5 slides will be talking about building wealth early. Start with strong basics. Spend less than you earn and save the difference. Build an emergency fund for 3 to 6 months of expenses. Avoid or pay off high interest debt. Learn the basics of money management and investing. Building wealth early. Invest as soon as possible. Use retirement accounts like 401ks, IRAs, especially if there's an employer match. Seek to low-cost index funds or ETFs. I hope y'all know what ETF stands for. Exchange traded funds. But for steady, low, long-term growth. Like, no, for real, I really hope y'all exchange traded funds. You need to know what ETFs are. We don't need to be putting our money in places where we don't even know what it stands for, what the acronym stands for. Invest regularly. Monthly contributions work better than trying to time the market. Guys, hindsight is 2020. It's easy to look at a chart and say, oh, if I would have invested this money then, if I would have put this money here, if I would have did this amount, that amount. It's easy to look back and say that, guys. But the truth is, we cannot time the market. You can sell out of a stock thinking it's going to drop down for it to double in 2 seconds. And now you just missed double the gains because you're trying to time the market. I think monthly contributions are better because it gives you a more average buy price. Building wealth early. Grow multiple sources of wealth. Focus on building your career skills and earning potential. Explore side hustles or business ventures for extra income, such as life insurance. So I recently got my life insurance license, and that's probably one of the best things I've done for myself, being that I feel like it's a great way that I can venture out and make extra income on side of what I already do for myself. So if that's something that you thought about or been interested in, just let me know. I'll give you guys details, give you a rundown. Consider real estate or owning a piece of business to diversify. That's also becoming popular as well. Building wealth early. Manage money wisely. Use tax advantage accounts to keep more of your returns. Get the right insurance to protect your income and assets. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Don't let spending rise too fast as you can earn more. Guys, the more money we make does not mean the more money we spend. The more money we make should be the more money we save. Keep learning about personal finance and investing. Building wealth early. Know you're on track when your net worth, what you own minus what you owe, keeps increasing. A bigger part of your income goes towards investments of spending instead of spending. Your investments start producing income on their own. You can handle emergencies without falling into debt. These next set of slides, I know my screen just got dark, but what these next set of slides are going to be different charts that I looked up and researched. I know the last video I said I want to use some charts to explain the things that I'm talking about. But this first chart, $100,000 salary in January 2020 has the same buying power as $124,353 in April 2025. The dollar has lost 25% of its value in 5 years. Technically 15% in 4 years, 10 in one, because year to date the dollar is down 11% of its value. This is a chart of currency debasement since 2000. So you can see all of the different currencies: the Japanese yen, the euro, the British pound, US dollar, Aussie dollar, Indian, Chinese, Nigerian, all of their currencies. So I'm gonna try to leave these slides up for a few seconds so you guys can look at it or screenshot it if that's what you want to do. Families with children in official poverty. So, as I stated in one of my previous videos, since 1971, when the dollar was moved off the gold standard, remember that the dollar fiat, the paper money, was supposed to be a representation of how much gold that you own. But since the removal of the gold standard in 1971, we're now relying on trust of the government that our dollar is worth what they tell us it's worth. Fiat is basically the paper currency that any government issues out to its citizens that says you can buy XYZ with this amount of dollars. So as you can see, there's been a trend of single parent families with children, right, since 1971. Um, I'm sure you watching this video, somebody has been affected by this trend, right? The the less our money is worth, the less money we have, right? Money solves all problems because money gives us a gateway to find a solution to our problems. So us or people not being able to have that money gateway solutions to their problems has caused conflict upon marriages. Income gains widely shared in early post-war decades. Leave this up here for you guys. Pay attention to the difference from 1971 to now when the dollar was moved off of the gold standard. Worker pay has not kept pace with the productivity since the 1970s. Hourly compensation versus net productivity. Let you guys look at that. How long does it take to save for a house? So in 1971, it took on average 3 years to save for a house. While now it takes, in 2020, it was 7 years. It's most likely 8 now in 2025. Home value change versus income change, right? Since 1971 is when I marked it to now. Look at that. The value of homes, the cost of homes are outpacing our income, right? That's why it's taking longer for us to be able to save our houses. Healthcare and population. This is going to directly correlate with the next slide, which is basically talking about um, how healthcare is going bad, is going up because you guys know there's a such thing as an obese baby, like an obese child, right? So with another part of, the dollar being moved off the gold standard, our money isn't what it used to be. It's becoming harder to purchase healthy food. Healthy food is becoming expensive. We're now relying on cheap fast food that just gets us through the day. So this is the next slide, which is showing what we're eating less of and what we're eating more of and how it's affecting our bodies. Well, this previous slide of healthcare and population is showing how it's affecting our bodies. But yeah, this is the chart of what we're eating less of and more, which it should be a reverse effect. We should be eating more of these on the left and less of these on the right. Global production of vegetable oil, that is terrible. That is terrible. It should not be that high, right? That shows that we're consuming more and more bad things for our body. Divorce prevalence by age. This directly correlates with the previous slide about married couples with children and single couples, right? Um, like I said, money solves all our problems. When we don't have money, we can't solve our problems because it gives us a gateway of access to find a solution. This last slide is the US dollar is having its worst year in decades. Like I said, the US dollar has lost 35% of its purchasing power in the last 10 years. But this year alone, year to date, we've lost 11% of our purchasing power. So in 9 years, we lost um 20%. And so in this year alone, we lost 10, 11%, which is showing that the dollar is failing. Guys, like we need to find something. In my last video, I talked about the development, the stages of money, how money has progressed over decades and centuries. Like we need to be able to find what's next to be able to store and protect our wealth. And so this is where I'm going to end today's video. Um, you can like, comment, subscribe, share. Um, please comment things you like, things you want to see, don't see. I tried to do a better job this episode with showing charts so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. You should see the different numbers to see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think it's like almost midnight. I got work at like 5 a.m. So I need to wrap this up. Mom, if you're watching this, I don't have work at 5 a.m. I don't. I have nothing to do tomorrow. I'll be sleeping in. But yeah, no, I'm gonna wrap this up here. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Anything, thoughts, questions, comment section. I read it. Comment section. Just put it there. But all right, guys, we'll be out for today.